Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. I just wanted to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do, and you'll get notified of all the future videos. So this week, it's another episode of New Lives in France, and I'm off to go and see Debi. As you can see, the weather is truly autumnal and it's a bit drizzly, but with Debi's warm welcoming, we're gonna have a great time. So let's go. Well, thank you for inviting me to your lovely home here in the centre of France. Cheers, yeah, thank you for the coffee, which is very much needed on this cold autumnal day. Brilliant, so we're just sort of talking, obviously we've got this new series of New Lives in France. If you could tell me sort of why you came here and when you came here.
I actually have no idea. About, what was it, 2004, I came out for a holiday. My mum and dad had stayed here, or bought here in, I think it was 2001, I think it was.
Oh, okay, so your parents lived here
parents, this is their place.
Okay,
yeah.
right, excellent.
And so I came out, had a little girl at two years old, so I came out for a holiday for a month. And during that month, I got convinced I needed to stay. So yeah, so it was no thought, no planning. So my sister lives here as well. So she lives about 10 miles away.
Did she move?
She came about 6 months after my parents.
Okay. So it's kind of a natural progression for you to try and to come to France for the rest of the time.
So my sister's going like, well, yeah, you can rent out here. It's easy. So I said, well, why not? Let's go look. So we looked around for some rental properties, and I found one literally. It was about 3 kilometres up the road. That direction. Lovely little cottage in a farmyard. And I went, yeah, that's okay. 250 a month. Very cheap. I mean, it's so cheap compared to the UK. I'm going like, why not? What's to lose? So I went back to the UK, spent 3 months packing up, closing the business down, and saying au revoir to everyone.
So you had a business in the UK?
I did, yeah.
What
I ran a graphic design and print business.
Okay, excellent.
Did that for about 16 years after I left college.
Okay.
So I trained as a graphic designer and photographer. But yeah, it was really random. It was like, everyone was like, what?
Out of the blue.
Yeah, completely random. I mean, originally, I was thinking, I might move abroad one day, but probably to Ireland or somewhere like that. Yeah, so, it was all a bit of a whirlwind, and so my brother brought me over in his van, me, my dog, and all my belongings. And
you had a 2-year-old daughter at the time, so how did you find that, sort of introducing her into France? Well, it was actually
brilliant, as it turned out, because of running my business, she was in a little nursery during the day, so it wasn't my ideal for bringing up a child. I kind of wanted her to be more at home, which was awkward running a business. So when I came here, I found that I had best of both worlds. I could have her in the local, what do they call it, maternelle, down at Fusine, for a few hours when she first came. So she got to pick up the language really young. But of course we had all the school holidays and the weekends and the Wednesdays off, so I had a bit of both. So I could run my business here, but have her at home for a good amount of time. So
I suppose she's fluent in French now.
She's very good. Yeah, she puts me to shame.
So what do you do here in France then?
Well, when I moved out, I continued a bit of the design work because obviously I can do that at a distance, but I wanted to change pretty much everything. So I think it was about a couple of years later I then took up painting, which is what I really wanted to do originally. So I did a few exhibitions. My mum, she passed away 10 years ago, but she was a good painter, so we did some exhibitions here. I got back into that, and then as time goes by I'm sort of experimenting with different materials, do a bit of recycling, paper making, and now I'm working with wire, so some bought and some recycled, so like old electrical wire, that sort of thing.
Excellent,
So I started off making small things, just like dragonflies and bookmarks, and now I'm getting more into sculpture. So
I suppose the advantage again of being in France is you've got the space, haven't you? So you've got the space to have a workshop to be able to do.
My workshop is outside most of the year. I mean, not days like this, but I tend to work outside where I can. So I've got varying spots around the place. I've got a covered area in my yard. We've got a nice little sort of courtyardy garden out there where I work, wherever the sun is and where it's dry, where it's warm. I can take my stuff and
you've got a gorgeous location. I mean, the view is amazing. You know, just out here, you can't see anyone.
It's lovely.
It's just trees and fields.
A few years ago, that hedge was a lot lower. It hasn't been cut, and you could see right across to the Chartres. But it's actually really nice. You can't see any houses. We have a neighbour, but because we're in the same line, you can't see each other. It's lovely. It's very private.
Why did your parents pick this area originally? Was there a reason?
Again, kind of randomly. They came out to look generally in. I don't know if you know it's this area. I think they went to the Charente first. They went just travelling around. They booked up to see a few houses, but by the time they got here, they were all sold. It was back in that time when they were selling literally in a day.
Yeah.
And the estate agent was bringing them around, and everything they wanted to see had sold. And he said, "Well, there's one just come on. I'll take you to see it." And they came down the drive, and my mum in the back of the car with the estate agent went, "This is it." She literally hadn't even set foot in the place. She knew this was the place, and that was it. They signed the next day. This was on a 5-day trip, and they came home and they said to us, me and my sister, like, "We're not sure what we've done. We've bought a place." But it was foggy when we were there. We don't know what's in the area. They knew nothing about this place.
It's exactly what you shouldn't do when buying.
Exactly. They spent the next 7 or 8 years basically doing the whole place up.
Did you have any kind of challenges moving to France? I mean, did you find it difficult? I mean, one, you had to close your business, and then two, bringing a young child.
The business bit was. I kind of felt a bit guilty because I didn't employ anybody, but I had people working with me. Right, it was like a little team of designers, and I had one person doing websites and that sort of thing. So it was a bit of a shock for me to go back and say, "By the way, I'm moving abroad and shutting up shop," but c'est la vie. No particular challenge, I don't think. It was a long time ago. Yeah. Much easier to move here back then. Obviously, it's a bit more challenging these days, I suspect. Yes. No, my biggest challenge was deciding what to bring, because my brother's van, I can't remember what make it was, but it wasn't a big van. Yeah. And basically, I had to get everything in it that I could at one go. So literally, I don't think you would got a matchbox in it. That was the challenge. It was, what do I let go of? Yeah.
So obviously this part that we're in now is used as a B&B.
Yeah. So my mum set the B&B up originally, and as she started getting ill, so I suggested to her that they should let it out as a gîte in the summer and just move in with me for the few weeks, which we did for the first year, and that's when we lost her. But so then my dad did that for, I don't know how many years now, 5 or 6 years. So he'd move up into we've got a caravan in the garden, so he'd be up there for the summer. So he let that out. It's just to top his pension up because he's just on a standard pension. Yeah. And then in 2019, I said to my dad, "You know what? It's crazy. We've got all these rooms, practically an empty house. So to top up my income, obviously, because it's not easy making a living as an artist, but it's fun, but you're never going to be rich." So I said, I'll help you open up the B&B. Yeah. So I added an activity to my business and opened up in 2019, and it was great. I had a lovely summer, and then COVID hit. Oh God, no! So 2020 was literally we just shut because my dad's old. I didn't want to open. And so we waited, anxiously for the vaccine to come. So this year we did open, but it was very slow. Yeah. But this year I've been thinking, I was hoping to have started this year, but I want to do creative stays. So people can come and stay for a few days, learn varying activities of their choice. So I'm going to tailor make some, excuse me, it's my phone, tailor make some activities. So for instance, somebody could come and learn how to make a wire sculpture, a bird, or they could come and learn to draw or paint or different things. Or maybe choose a selection of activities.
That sounds really good. So what's your favourite thing about France and living here?
There's lots of favourite things, but apart from actually just staying at home and enjoying it, especially in the summer, you can sit in the garden and have a glass of wine and just watch the world go by. I think eating out, the local restaurants, because at lunchtime is just so cheap.
I know.
3-4 course meal, €15. What's not to like? Love that. Love the cafes. I mean, as you know, we've got a nice local cafe down the road, haven't we? So sit out there sometimes. And other than that, exploring the area. When I was here first, I had Katie, and she was like 3, 4, 5, 6. We used to go camping. So from here, being in the centre, any direction, a couple of hours, really
exactly.
lovely and so different.
So you don't regret moving here?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Best thing I ever did.
So your primary income is obviously making your art. Do you sort of exhibit local places as well?
Over the years I've done a variety of things, so like for instance doing exhibitions with groups, solo exhibitions. More recently we've been getting into doing these pop-up shops, boutique éphémères, the pop-up shops, especially around Christmas time and some in the summer.
They're very popular now in France, aren't they? Yeah, especially for artists.
Yes, they're really good because you can normally, I mean, like we did down in the village there, the mayor organised the small shop.
Yes.
We didn't have to pay any rent. We just had to pay some insurance, and about, I think 4 or 5 of us got together and opened that up for the summer. So yeah, we've done a few things like that. And obviously I've got online, I've got my website and an Etsy shop. And
I suppose for people watching this, is it possible to move to France and to be an artist and to make a living and live here?
I would say it is. It is. I wouldn't suggest doing it like I did, with coming out here with no money at all. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on what your art is and how good you are at selling your, that's the hard bit. Selling what you really need is to have somebody else sell for you. If I had an agent, I'd be like, yeah, brilliant.
Do you have any sort of top tips for people who want to move to France?
Ooh, learn French. Learn French. Learn a bit of French. I would say it's a really good idea to get a grasp of it. Just some basic sayings, just so that you can, do the pleasantries when you meet somebody. I have found that, especially when I first moved here, that if you try just a little, the French are very forgiving on your terrible grammar. And the grammar really is hard. So yeah, learn a bit of French. That would be a top tip. For anybody who's not made the move, is research. My suggestion would be to people, which is kind of what I did, sort of, is not necessarily move here permanently. Perhaps rent like I did, but maybe rent 2 or 3 weeks somewhere. Try different areas, and especially out of season. It's very, very charming here in the summer, it's all lovely and sunny and warm and people walking around in sandals and then you get this. And it can be very cold and wet and grey in the winter. It's not all sunshine.
But then this is no different to the weather we get in Britain.
It's not. You might be thinking, I'm moving to France, I'm going to life in the sun. It's not all sun. It's not all sun. But no, I would say just to perhaps, because there's a lot of gîtes. A heck of a lot of gîtes everywhere, and I'm sure a little off-season rental will go down very well with most owners. So just visit places, explore first, unless you're obviously already familiar and fallen in love with a place. But oh, that would be my other top tip: is don't buy to renovate. Buy somewhere done up. You'll save yourself years.
Come over to France and enjoy it rather than.
Goodness me. My mum and dad must have spent 7 or 8 years doing this, and that's a lot of. They came out in one was dad. He was 6. I think he was 60, 62, 60, something like that. And that's a big chunk of your life renovating.
I think you enjoy it though.
I think you do. He's very practical.
I was going to say that's it. I know quite a few people who've bought ruins and have thoroughly enjoyed the next 10 years of doing them up. So definitely. But I agree with you. At the same time, it's quite nice to buy somewhere where you don't have to do too much.
Just a little bit of decorating is all right, but not putting new roofs and things on.
Excellent. Oh well, thank you very much for the conversation and everything. And so you've got a lovely place here.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully the B&B will be full of people doing artistic stays and things like that. And perhaps I can come back another time. We can maybe do a YouTube video around making
that would be lovely.
Things like that. That'd be fantastic. And then some of my viewers can see how to make a small item, and then if they want to come and do some more, then they know where you are. Excellent. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, Debbie.
Thank you.
And hopefully see you again soon.
Yes, indeed.
In and around the area having a glass of wine.
Indeed.
I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I thoroughly enjoyed speaking to Debbie, and we're going to organise for me to go back maybe in a couple of months to do a wire sculpture with them. So don't forget to subscribe so you get notified of future videos and hopefully see me making a wire sculpture in the future. Cheers for that, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye.